In 460, engineers rerouted a river 90 kilometers across Sri Lanka. That canal still flows today, and the wealth it generated would ultimately seal its king's fate. Across Sri Lanka's dry zone, the monsoon brings rain for barely 4 months. For the other 8, rivers shrink to trickles, and the earth cracks into hardened plates. Without water carefully stored and moved by hand, no rice could grow, no city could stand, no kingdom could possibly survive in this landscape. Anuradhapura dominated for over 1,000 years, its dagobas rising higher than pyramids, its monasteries sheltering thousands of monks. Yet the city sat on cracked earth with no river of its own. Every stone, every monk, every crown depended entirely on water that others had to capture and carry in from somewhere far away. Decades of invasion had left old canals silted and fields abandoned across the kingdom. A young king named Dhatusena inherited the throne and confronted a water system in complete collapse. Dhatusena had not inherited chaos passively. He had fought his way out of it, driving foreign occupiers from the throne his family once held. Crowned amid ruined fields, he made a deliberate choice. Water, not military conquest, would rebuild what invasion had destroyed. The Culavamsa documents the destruction clearly. Embankments breached, sluice gates choked with silt, fields left to scrub after decades under foreign rule and spears. Dhatusena looked past the broken canals and conceived something far more ambitious. He would not restore the old network. Instead, he seized the Amban Ganga itself and forced it toward Anuradhapura through a channel longer than any canal previously built anywhere on the island. Between the river and the capital lay 80 kilometers of dry plains and rock ridges, with no natural stream connecting them. Thousands of laborers piled clay, rubble, and packed earth into a wall over a mile long, raising it season after season until it could hold back an entire river. That embankment birthed an inland sea, where dry scrubland had once stood barren and cracked. Kalawewa could hold tens of millions of cubic meters of water, its embankment stretching farther than any reservoir wall Rome constructed during that same century. From Kalawewa, the Yoda Ela began its journey, the Giant's Canal, stretching 87 kilometers toward the capital's tanks. When British surveyors finally leveled it centuries later, they discovered a fall of barely 6 inches per mile. Such precision, they believed, lay beyond what any ancient hand could possibly achieve. Too steep and floodwater tears the banks apart. Too flat and silt chokes the channel dead. The slope had to be exact. That measurement forced a rethink. Surveyors had assumed ancient builders relied on trial and error alone, not mathematics. But sustaining such a fine fall across 87 kilometers demanded true leveling and calculation. Knowledge scholars now rank alongside Rome's finest aqueduct engineers of antiquity. Henry Parker, surveying for the British Crown, set his theodolite along the bank and found a drop no accident could explain. Dhatusena had achieved it without instruments, without written mathematics, only rope, sight lines, and a builder's certainty that this reservoir was his greatest source of wealth and power. Builders likely traced shallow trial trenches, watching where water pooled or ran, letting the land itself confess its slope, pool by pool, until the path became clear. Kalawewa was never alone. It fed a chain of smaller tanks downstream, each overflow spilling into the next, village after village, like veins branching from a single heart. Across the dry zone, hundreds of linked reservoirs turned scattered rainfall into one continuous, shared bloodstream for survival. Each tank's stone sluice released only what farmers needed, letting surplus flow onward, the same water feeding fields twice, 3 times, before reaching the sea. None of this rose by machine. Thousands dug the embankment by hand. Baskets of clay passed shoulder to shoulder, while royal officials and Buddhist monks walked the banks, counting laborers, rationing rice, and enforcing the king's schedule against the coming monsoon's deadline. Where drought once emptied fields, rice now ripened 3 harvests yearly. Villages swelled, granaries filled, and surplus grain became something far more dangerous than famine: political power. But the water didn't only feed rice fields. As Mineria's reservoir shrank each dry season, its exposed lakebed grew fresh grass, and elephants noticed. Herds began gathering yearly. 16 centuries later, hundreds still arrive each August, drawn by an irrigation tank built for grain, not tusks. The Culavamsa, the island's great chronicle of kings, names Dhatusena directly and credits him with an extraordinary legacy. Reservoirs, canals, temples raised across the dry zone, achievements the monks reserved for rulers who actually fed their people. The chroniclers who wrote this record called him a restorer of prosperity itself. But Dhatusena had 2 sons, one born to rule, one determined to seize it, and the throne had room for only one. The elder, Kashyapa, was born to a consort of no royal rank. The younger, Moggallana, was son of the chief queen, the true heir by blood and law. Age favored one, birthright favored the other. The court could not hold both claims at once. Kashyapa found his ally in Megara, commander of the army. The Culavamsa records an old grudge. Dhatusena had once ordered Megara's mother beaten. Kashyapa seized his father, imprisoned him, and claimed the throne. Moggallana fled to India. But the throne he'd stolen commanded something vast, thousands of interconnected reservoirs, forming a cascade system 2 to 3 times larger than North America's Great Lakes, an engineering empire built centuries before machines existed. Megara's men demanded gold. The Culavamsa records what Dhatusena told them. His only treasure was the reservoir itself, the water, not coin. Megara took him at his word. The chronicle tells it plainly. Dhatusena was stripped and sealed into the very embankment he had engineered, entombed inside his own dam wall. The king who gave an entire nation water became part of it forever, merged with his greatest work. Kashyapa abandoned Anuradhapura entirely, retreating to a lone granite rock rising from the plain, building his new capital atop Sigiriya. From Sigiriya's summit, Kashyapa ringed his palace with moats and mirrored walls, watching the horizon for Moggallana, the brother he never killed. 18 years passed. Then Moggallana landed with an army. The Culavamsa says Kashyapa rode out to meet him, but his own elephant turned aside on the battlefield. His soldiers read it as retreat and broke ranks. Kashyapa fell on his own blade. Sigiriya's throne stood empty ever after. The Yoda Ela Canal carried water 87 kilometers toward Anuradhapura, its gradient so mathematically precise that British surveyors refused to believe it was genuinely ancient. Centuries later, King Parakramabahu I expanded Kalawewa even further. His inscriptions declare an absolute command. Not one single drop of water reaching the ocean should escape without serving man first. Dynasties collapsed and jungles swallowed the sluices for centuries, until colonial engineers excavated them and set the water running once again. Colonial surveyors ran their theodolites and steel chains along the channel, checking the fall foot by foot. They discovered a gradient matching Roman aqueduct standards, Trial and error could not explain this precision. Someone here had mastered mathematical principles Europeans believed only they possessed. 16 centuries onward, Kalawewa still floods paddy fields every growing season. Farmers open the identical sluices, follow the same channel Dhatusena carved from the Amban Ganga. His reservoir outlived his dynasty, his assassins, his entire kingdom, and still nourishes people today. Kalawewa was merely one node within a vast hydraulic network. Chroniclers documented thousands of tanks across the island, a water empire rivaling Rome's engineering, largely forgotten outside academia. Kashyapa's soldiers sealed his father inside a wall to die of thirst. The chronicle preserves Dhatusena's final words. The reservoir was his only true wealth. His throne is gone, his palace is gone, the water remains. Today, Kalawewa irrigates rice fields for thousands of families who never learned his name. His legacy outlasted him by centuries.